In about 8 hours from now, the Supreme Court will hand down more rulings, and Prop 8 could be one of them. Will the court allow same-sex marriage? We have multiple reports tonight. NBC Bay Area's Gene Ellie is in the Castro, which is bracing for the news. But we begin with Cheryl Hurd, who's in Washington, D.C., covering this historic decision. Cheryl.
The Supreme Court justices did something very unusual. They added another day for rulings, and that day is tomorrow. There were crowds gathering on the steps of the High Court, some curious.
It's great to, see our government in action and be able to see that it actually is a democracy and participate and watch it happening.
Some people against same-sex marriage.
It's sin. This is insane what's going on.
No ruling from the High Court on gay marriage Monday. Plaintiffs Chris Carey and Sandra Steyer walking out of the Supreme Court today optimistic.
We're just getting a little bit closer to the end, right? It's Monday. We'll be back tomorrow.
Tomorrow will be a lot like today. The High Court sorting out 6 undecided cases. The Lewises are from Massachusetts and have been married for 5 years.
We're discriminated against on a regular basis in terms of our health care, for instance, where we're double taxed, in terms of family health care, taxable benefit. That's something that straight couples don't have to pay if they have family health insurance through an employer.
With a decision looming, San Francisco City Attorney Dennis Herrera has now issued a statement saying if the High Court decides to strike down the state's ban on same-sex marriage, there will be a 25-day waiting period between the Supreme Court ruling and the start of same-sex weddings. Chris Carey says in her case, the wait is worth it.
It's okay. It's been a long process and it's worth the wait. I think we'll see something good happen.
Starting tomorrow, early in the morning, people will start lining up for open seating. The doors open at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. In Washington, D.C., I'm Cheryl Hurd, NBC Bay Area News.
Cheryl, thank you. More details now on that highly anticipated decision. San Francisco's Castro district is preparing for big crowds on Decision Day. The closer the ruling is released to Pride Weekend, the larger the crowd is expected to get. NBC Bay Area's Gene Ellie joins us from the Castro, where planners are gearing up for an event they know will happen. They just don't know when. Gene.
That's right, Raj. They put up these invitations around the Castro. It says on Decision Day to come here to market in Castro streets, but nobody knows which day. And as each day passes, the crowd estimate grows.
Well, you let me know when Decision Day is and I'll staff it, okay? I don't know.
At the Eureka restaurant in San Francisco's Castro district, Chef Gaines Dobbins is preparing for the busiest week of the year.
Anything you can do to prep ahead of time. I'm making a bunch of stock right there, things like that.
Dobbins knows starting Thursday, visitors in town for Pride Weekend will pack his restaurant. It happens every year. Mix in the U.S. Supreme Court's decision on Prop 8, and you have a recipe for another big night. But no one knows which night.
The later it gets, the more hectic it's going to be.
That's because out-of-towners are starting to roll in for the Pride celebration. Banners and balloons are in place. Barricades for Decision Day street closures are at the ready.
Okay, thank you.
Volunteers with the Castro community on patrol are handing out safety whistles, waiting for word from the court.
It makes logistics very complicated.
The Castro is already crowded this week with people attending the LGBT International Film Festival. They will have lots of company on Decision Day. Castro Street will be closed that night for a community gathering. If the decision paves the way for same-sex marriage in California, there will be stages and music. If marriage is not allowed, stages don't go up. Thousands are expected.
More and more out-of-towners are coming into San Francisco, and that means the size of the crowd for the day of decision is potentially going to be 2 or 3 times what it would have been if it would have just been local people.
Details of the ruling will set the mood in the Castro.
It could help us, it could hurt us. We don't know. So we're planning for being busier.
Whatever the court decides, Dobbins and his crew will be working overtime. Decision Day planners and restaurant owners here in the Castro will be checking the Supreme Court's blog tomorrow morning to find out if Tuesday is the day. Reporting live in the Castro, Gene Ellie, NBC Bay Area News.
It could be a big day tomorrow. Thank you, Gene. The Supreme Court did issue a ruling on the use of race in college admissions. The court ruled 7-1 to send a Texas case back to a lower court for another look. Many call this a no decision. The case was initiated by several white students who claim the admission criteria at the University of Texas violates their equal protection rights.